to round 3. We're here in Belgium, and well, we've been immediately thrown a surprise from the weather. I'm obviously joined by Robbie, as I have been the entire season. How are you, Robbie?
Hello, John. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
And what do you make of these conditions?
I want to be driving now. Looks fun.
For some reason, this guy he really loves the wet, and it tends to rain when he's in the commentary box.
Yeah.
Just got a few cars out on circuit. Not really sure what conditions are going to do going further. So if they like this get drier, maybe it's better to go out at the end of the session. Drivers at this point have a much clearer understanding of the weather than we do. Let me see what's on circuit. Obviously, so far in the championship, well, we've got 2 championships technically. So in the Tier 1 championship, obviously DW is leading Y Racer, his teammate, by 10 points. And then Wazzy with his 25 points from his single appearance last week. Apple Racing sort of running away with the championship. Somebody really needs to break that pairing. Very strong pairing at Red Bull. No lap times just yet. I think those initial lap times we see are going to be very slow. Guys are going to be taking it easy. Last thing you want is a retirement in Q1. While there's no lap times on screen as of yet, we can just have a look at the Tier 2 championship. And over there in Tier 2 you've actually got Wolf leading Cowboy, but only by 2 points. And then basically from 3rd place down to 9th it's covered by 8 points. So nothing in it really in Tier 2, much closer. And then in that Constructors Championship, it seems like Toro Rosso is the team that's running away with it a little bit. So obviously 2 championships, 2 drivers championships and 2 constructors championships to keep our eyes on. Let's join Wolf as he goes up a Rouge, nice and clean. Just got to be so careful with that corner in these conditions, so easy to lose it. Obviously here in Belgium, Spa, longest circuit on the calendar. Just a little bit over 7 Ks. Very long lap. Not the sort of track you want to get a puncture in Sector 1. It's going to take you an awfully long time to get back to the pits. So both Renaults out on track, TnB Force and Devon.
I think Force was the first or second driver out of the pits.
Well, Force is the first man to set a lap time. It's a 2:04.2. Just have a look. DW with a 2:01. And then Ronald with a 2:02. So very open at the moment. Another 2:04 for Captain Ice. Wolf goes second with a 2.19. 201.9. And Gavin's the first one to break into the 1 minute barrier. 1 minute 59. So Rob, these are your conditions.
Yeah. I'm faster in the wet than I'm in the dry.
Vino for real in the meantime has gone
It's
second.
more fun.
And how's that lap time by Vino for real? 201.1. Just over that minute barrier. Lap times continue to come in now. 9 drivers have set a lap time from the 18. Oof. And I'm not quite sure what happened there, but quickly panned over to the Renault of Devon and watched him go off circuit into a tyre wall, and it's actually caused something that will probably give Cameron a heart attack. It's a tyre tornado wall. You should actually see that, Rob. Where he hit the tyres went up into the air and started spinning.
Jeez.
It's not as bad as the Wall of Champions one that Cam encountered last season, but it is sort of on the exit of a corner and it could be distracting, so I don't know how many drivers are going to see that. We've seen in the past that not everybody sees it.
And look at that lap from BW, 2000272.
Racer obviously yet to set a lap time. He's on his out lap now. What do you make of conditions, Rob? Still same as the beginning of the session, or notice any improvement?
The same. Maybe in the maybe the lightness of the rain, but track is still very wet.
Might be looking at intermediates by Q3 maybe, but we have seen how this track can very drastically dry up between sessions. I've seen it go from intermediate to completely dry.
It's more like all of the tracks on the game.
We'll just follow Y Racer. He goes up a Rouge on his first flying lap. He loses it a bit at the front. Bit of an uncomfortable moment, probably had to lift. Goes past the Force India, winner for real there. Guys getting out of the way, nice to see. Pretty clean for now. I just don't think he's going to be too happy with that. They're in a Rouge. Having to take it over so easy. Obviously no need to look at the tyres. Everyone on the wets. Gavin's lap time is still 0.3 of a second faster than anyone else. I don't think this has been the best lap for Y Racer. Either he's been on the curve a bit too much, or I'm seeing a lot of lag. Thomas also out on the lap, yet to set a lap time.
Racer getting on the curb and almost.
And there's been a collision, it seems, between Y Racer and I think that was a Toro Rosso. And that's the problem with Belgium. Now he's going to have to go around and do another lap because he missed that pit entry. And it's a really long lap.
Yeah.
And you want to get back in time for that second stint. That really would have thrown a spanner in the works. all of your top 10 are all sitting in the pits at the moment, with the exception of Vino for real, currently in third.
He's on his way to
But he seems to be going along slowly. So none of the top 10 making a move. Feeling safe. I think we'll only have 3 cars fall out at the end of this session. If everything goes to a Springbok gamer Y racer who hasn't been able to put a lap together, had a bit of bad luck. And then Thomas runs wide there. I don't think this fast lap's really going to be what he wanted. Okay, so all of your top 10 in the pits. Staffy out on circuit in 11th, but going very slowly.
Springbok Gamer is starting a fast lap.
Following Death Seeker at the moment, currently in 13th place. He's in sector 2. Hasn't done a lap time as of yet. We want to get that lap time down so he can get a better judgment of his pace. Oh, and he goes off there, hits the wall, breaks a piece of the wing on the right hand side. That won't be ideal, especially in these conditions and at this circuit.
Lucky enough not to lose a wheel there.
No, that's just symptoms of the wing running incredibly wide. He's going to have to dive into the pits. So another thing that these guys want to be careful with in these conditions is that pit entry. So it's a tricky one. Kevin is going over the line to start a quick lap. Let's have a look. Where is Springbok Gamer? He's in sector 2 of a quick lap for Haas. Neither of the Haas drivers have set a fast lap just yet. Let's see now what he can do in sector 3. Devin has retired from the session. Still following Springbok Gamer. Goes into that final chicane. Very important chicane. Ooh, loses it on the exit a little bit. Gets over the line. Gonna go 12th. And that should be safe for the time being. Unless the rest of these guys get out there. Death Seeker is sitting in the pits with a set of intermediates, as is Y Racer. So maybe just waiting for as late in the session as they can and get out there and settle up. Both currently at risk. Well, it seems to have 2 retirements, so would those be the cars that fall out in Q2? Does that mean everyone is safe, or?
I'm not sure.
I think that means everyone on track right now is safe. But we shall see. We've seen Y Racer's still in the pits, but he's gone back onto the wets. VW on an outlap now with the intermediates, as is Cameron. Well, Cameron's still in the pits with a set of intermediates, but it seems like that's the way this session is heading. I think we might have one massive sprint here in a busy track. Now I wonder maybe if Y Racer just made the wrong choice now, because he had that set of intermediates, changed it at the last moment, went onto wets, and now he's on an outlap when everybody's starting to really experiment with the intermediates. Well, no one on intermediates as of yet has improved their time. Watching Staffy through a ruse. Had to lift off and then still ran wide on the exit. Just have a look here. No one has improved on intermediates as of yet, so we'll keep an eye on that. The guys start setting better laps on intermediates. Have a look, where is TnB, DW and Gavin? First and second at the moment. WDW is in sector 1 of the fast lap. He's got a set of intermediates on that car. Currently 3/10 of a second off the pace from Gavin. And he won't be...
Gavin takes out a couple of braking balls as he lost the rear of his car.
Don't think DW is going to be too happy with his entrance into a ruse there. And Gavin on that set of wets. Obviously there's no time to come in and have another stint. Problem with an incredibly long track. Just watch DW currently in second. Have a look if he can improve in sector 2. There's 50 seconds remaining now in Q1. A lot of guys have retired from the session. Let's have a look, where is Y Racer? He's currently sitting in 18th. And he's trying to set that first fastest lap. Hasn't been able to get a lap together. Now he's on a set of wets. Now we don't know... oh, and he's lost it. He's got on the curb, loses the back end completely, takes him into the wall. And I don't think Y-Race is going to be able to get a lap time in yet. This be a break from Red Bull dominance.
Yeah.
Tricky Q1. Should run out of time on the clock. Have a look. Ronald's still out there. He's in sector 2. He's on a quick lap. He's currently third. Just half a second off the pace.
9 seconds down.
We missed it, but DW went fastest. He did a 1:59.8. It's 0.05 of a second faster than Gavin. He's backing off. But for real.
DW is going for another lap. Why is making the start?
Y-Racer managed to get a lap in 12 seconds off the pace, but I think he'll be happy to go to Q2. I think he'll just want to go to Q2 and forget about this session. So DW made it over the line, so he's on another quick lap.
He's 1.2 seconds up.
Making those intermediates work for him. Literally on track as late as possible. The only man on circuit. Ooh, locks up a little bit. Let's see what he can do. If he improves, and we can't help you. Cuts away, but nevertheless, he's going to go into Q2. First place, he'll be happy with that, but just 0.05 of a second between him and the Ferrari driver. So, well, we'll have to see what the weather holds for us in Q2. Let's have a look at the results from qualifying 1. CTW first with a 1:58.5 on a set of intermediates. Then you've got Gavin in second, Ronald third, Finariel in fourth, TnB fourth in 5th, but Little Piece a returning driver in 6th, Cameron 7th, Captain Ice 8th, The Wolf in 9th, and then Springbok Game at 10th. That's your top 10. Now we wait in anticipation to see the condition of the circuit.
It's gonna be dry. I wanna know how they actually got it that dry.
Seems
looks worse.
seems I think intermediate's not as bad as it was in the beginning of Q1, but
yeah, it's Inters.
I think definitely Inters. Maybe by Q3 we will see a dry track. Seen stranger things. First man out on circuit is Ronald. In the McLaren. Seems like everyone has Inters fitted to their car. Staffy also on an outlap, as is Little Piece and Captain Ice, getting out there early. As mentioned before, long circuits, so if you want to get those 2 stints in, you really can't waste time in the pits. Cameron also now on an outlap. Six cars out on circuit. Another thing about the circuit is you're actually able to pace yourself, on your outlap and make quite a gap because it's so big. Such a large circuit. Obviously having a 100% distance race after this qualifying session, it's going to be 44 laps of a track that can really test your concentration.
And 45 times up by Rouge.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Included.
And obviously at this stage we have no way of knowing what the weather holds for that race. We've had interesting weather in the qualifying session. No lap times as of yet, but we did see Ronald come out of the pits first, so we'll follow him for now and get a idea. Just starts his fast lap now. Feels like it takes forever to get around here. So we ride now with the Ferrari driver Cameron. Has not set a lap time. He starts his fast lap now. He unfortunately missed round 2, but in round 1 he got his first pole position and then crashed out in the race, but showed some initial pace. I don't think he'd be too happy with his result in Q1. I think his main objective now would just be to get into Q3, but he has shown some serious pace, but I think he's hoping for dry conditions.
Okay, John, I have an update on the weather for the race.
Okay.
I've been told that there's raining 45 minutes into the race.
About halfway, right?
Yeah, halfway.
About halfway through the race.
And then it's gonna dry up.
That could really shake things up, and I mean, you get on the wrong tyre, too soon or too late or whatever the case is, and you can really mess up your strategy. You start making 2 pit stops because of one tyre change, and things can get really complicated, especially when there's, if it just went to wet, you could probably pull a 1 stop, but with it going back to dry, Okay, it's quite complicated. Little P's currently fastest. He's set a 1:56.7. Obviously the fastest time we've seen today so far with a drying circuit. Ronald second with a 1:57.4.
Cameron is in the final sector, going to the bus stop chicane.
We ride now with Cameron, we join him just in time. He's gonna go over the line, let's see what he can come up with.
Invalid lap.
An invalid lap.
Probably.
Really difficult to, it's actually very easy to cut at a rouge if you go too wide into the entrance, and I always try to go as wide as possible. And with the strict corner cutting, it's a risk.
The W is now in his middle in the second sector on a flying lap.
So Little P still fastest with a 1:56.7. We've missed it, but Y Racer has gone second with a 1:56.8, just a tenth of a second off the pace. It's already having a much better Q2 than he did Q1. We're watching his teammate, TnB DW, yet to set a lap time. Going into the main straight. And no lap time. Force is on an outlap. Springbok Gamer is on an outlap. Captain Ice is in sector 2. Staffy in sector 2.
Cam in sector 3.
Cam in sector 3. As is his teammate Gavin. So I think we'll see both Ferraris posting a time shortly.
You're third. What does Gavin do? Going for the bus stop chicane. Also invalid. Vino goes fastest.
Vino goes fastest, 1:56.2. Either he's very quick or the track is improving. Quite a substantial, that's half a second. Still a lot of spray though. He's in sector 3, but he goes into the pits. He's not happy with something. Rather have a second go at it.
W now coming to the bus stop chicane.
Join him now. And into the pits. No lap time. Gavin in sector 2. Thomas on an outlap. Captain Ice also in sector 2. He's actually just up the road from Gavin. Wonder if that might just put Gavin off a little bit. I mean, Rob, even if the guy doesn't get in the way, it always seems to just distract you that little bit.
Time. Yeah. Enough to make a mistake.
Seems like Gavin backed off completely.
No, that was Cam.
Oh, that was Cam. Now I sound like Murray Walker. Fantastic. Captain Ice dives into the pits without setting a lap time.
And Gavin quick. Force is now approaching the bus stop chicane.
Let's drive with the Renault driver now. Goes around, and it's a 1:57.5. That'll be good enough for 6th. Now these guys that went around and popped into the pits instead of setting a lap, what are their ideas? Go out later in the session.
It's gonna have to be another set of winters because it's still
I see the raindrops getting less, so I think as late as you can be on track, the best for you basically. Gonna get the most out of it. So at the moment 8 cars have set lap times. Your top 8 as it stands is Vinna Farrell on provisional pole. Then you've got Little Piece, a returning international driver. Another international driver in 3rd place, Y Racer. Got Cameron in 4th, pole sitter from round 1. Ronald in 5th, TnB 4th and 6th. Got Wolf in 7th, leading the championship in Tier 2. Staffy in 8th. And those are your drivers to have set lap times. Let's have a look. Springbok Gamer has not set a lap time as of yet. He's in sector 3. Captain Ice on an outlap. Thomas sector 1.
Going to start this fast lap now.
Gavin and TnB both, TnB DW both on outlaps. Now all of these guys on outlaps are the guys that popped into the pits. McLaren driver Ronald, currently 5th. He's on an outlap. Looking to improve on that. Not far behind Cameron in 4th, just 0.3 of a second.
Springbok in sector 2.
Force has retired from the session. Not sure what happened there.
He was still in the pits.
If he was in the pits, then it must have been a voluntary retirement. When it's voluntary, you can't come back for the next session. Vinna Farrell has now retired. He's obviously happy with his lap time. Unless the circuit were to dramatically dry up in 2 minutes, and I don't see that happening. So, will we get a dry Q3? Who knows? Thomas has retired from the session.
Thomas lost it just in front of the start-finish line.
Springbok Gamer now, he gets onto the main straight. Let's see what lap time he can put down. There we go, he goes 9th, the 1:58.3. Gets a lap time in. You want to be in that top 10. Captain Nice in sector 2 of a fast lap.
DW now in the 2nd sector.
Gavin on an outlap.
Now Gavin's on a soft lap.
We've got 3 drivers. We'll be desperately trying to get into that top 10. I think especially Gavin, he doesn't want to start in the midfield like that. He wants to be further up the field. His time trial times or anything to go by, he's quick around here.
That's a nice engine, the bus chicane.
Don't think he'll want to. That's a nice 11th with a 1:58.5. So did get over the line, so I think if he can do another fast lap.
Gavin got his lap invalidated again.
Not safe at the moment. So I'm sure Captain Ice will have another go at it. Gavin did get over the line with about 18 seconds remaining on the clock, so he can give it another go.
And that would have also might have invalidated his lap again.
Springbok Gamer comes into the pits. He's currently 10th, but is at risk, obviously. Captain Ice, he wasn't far behind, just 0.2 of a second. Maybe having a second go at it, he got over the line just in time. Got DW also in Sector 3, currently second with a 156.5. Gavin running wide there. It's not going to be an optimal lap, but he'll just want to get it into the top 10. DW goes fastest, 156.265. There's nothing in that. Just 1/100th of a second.
I think we are going to have a dry Q3 here, Jono. There's no more.
Gavin's still going around the circuit in Sector 3, yet to set a lap time. Needs to get a lap time in, otherwise he will be eliminated. And he will start in 14th in the race. He's going to go over the line shortly, and look at that. Provisional pole, 156.2. Nicely done. Got that. He dramatized that one a little bit, I think. I didn't actually think he was going to get into Q3 there. Nicely done. We'll have the results of Q2 for you in a second, and there they are. Gavin stealing provisional pole at the very last moments with a 156.2. Not far behind, just basically 5/100ths. We've got TnB DW also with a 156.2. Vino in third, Ronald fourth, Little Piece in fifth, Y Racer sixth, Cameron in seventh as he was in Q1, Captain Ice eighth, Foss in ninth, and Wolf in 10th. And then the drivers that have been eliminated. Sorry, I didn't get that. But Staffy, Wolf, Springbok Gamer, Captain Ice,
Thomas. No, it was Staffy, Springbok Gamer, the new guy, and
well, nice Thomas. To see no complications with the numbers. We're going to have a Q3 top 10 shootout as it should be. Everyone in the, well, as I say, everyone in the pits. 2 cars dive out of the pits. It's McLaren. Same as Q2. Ronald very eager to get out there. You want to utilize all the time you can to be out there on circuit. Gavin took it to the end and just managed to get into this session. Gavin will also be hoping for a strong showing from his teammate. Much needed in the constructors. Well, that's an extremely big gap in the constructors. Red Bull Racing is sitting on 76 points, whereas Ferrari is sitting on 15.
So a lot of points to catch up.
That Constructors' Championship actually reads quite interestingly. It's Red Bull Racing, followed by Force India, then Haas, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Renault, Sauber, Toro Rosso, and well, Williams. Some things don't change.
Williams at the bottom.
Not nice to see Williams at the bottom if you were familiar with them when they were great. It's a little bit wide there on the exit of Eau Rouge going over the curb. Opens up DRS, goes down the straight. Gavin going all over the circuit. I'm not sure if that's internet connection. DW now starting his fast lap.
Arnold in the final sector.
Fastest lap for Ronald, obviously. Benchmark lap.
Benchmark.
1:45.2. Force goes over the line in second with a 1:45.5. Vinner for real now third with a 1:52.0.
Get some ice out of the bus stop chicane. There's a 1:52.5. But starting a little bit. Oh, that was just an outlap.
Got Wolf in sector 1. What appears to be a fast lap. Same for Captain Ice. Sector 1 goes up Eau Rouge as we say that. Little piece still sitting in the pits for now. Ooh. Fastest lap for TnB DW with a 1:44.4. Well, that changes things. 1.2 seconds. Racer also out on a quick lap. I believe. Sorry, that is a out lap. Gavin also on an out lap. Ooh, and the Red Bulls. Look at these Red Bulls, first and second, a 1:44.1 for Racer, 1:44.4 for TnB DW. The only two into the 1:44s in the session so far. Red Bull looking strong early on. In the meantime, Cameron has gone 5th for Ferrari. See how his teammate is doing. His teammate Gavin will start a quick lap any moment now.
It was a quick lap, it got invalidated.
Captain Ice now, he'll go over the line, he'll go over a 1:46.7. We'll put him in 7th place.
And DW now entering the bus stop chicane.
See if he'll dive into the pits or have another go at it. Has another go. Does he improve? He does, but not enough. It's a 1:44.2. And there's 1/10 of a second between the two Red Bull drivers. Vinner for real has broken that 1:44 barrier. So now there's 3 drivers in the 144s. Ronald still in 5th, Foss in 6th, Cameron now in 6th. He's obviously been in 7th for Q1 and Q2. So basically showing more or less the same pace. Still waiting for lap times from Wolf, who's currently in Sector 2 on a fast lap. Little P still sitting in the pits, yet to set a lap time. And then we've got Gavin in Sector 3 of a fast lap.
Approaching the faster chicane.
Let's follow Gavin and then we'll go over to Wolf. And Gavin dives into the pits without setting a lap time. Let's go back to Wolf. He's now in Sector 3 of a fast lap. Yet to set a lap time, of course. And he dives into the pit lane, as did Gavin. Not happy with that initial run. Get in there, put a fresh set of tyres on and have another go. Lil P's still in the pits, not interested in making a lap time as of yet. Cam is on an outlap, currently in 6th place. Want to improve on that. Gavin yet to set a lap time. I hope he doesn't. Was about to start a fast lap. Want to improve on that 145.5. Currently 1.4 seconds off the pace. If not coming out of the pits. So obviously didn't finish that lap. Little Piece, no lap time as of yet. Gavin, no lap time as of yet. And Wolf, no lap time as of yet. The top 7 are Y Racer, TnB. Again, the Red Bull team dominating. Vinofaril in 3rd, Ronald 4th, TnB Force in 5th. And then obviously Cam in 6th and Captain Ice in 7th. Cam only starting a fast lap now. We have all 10 cars out on circuit at the moment. 7 of them on outlaps. Just 3 of them on fast laps. That would be Ronald in the McLaren Force. And as I say that, Force goes 3rd. He improves a 144.3. Gets close to the Red Bulls. Extremely close to the Red Bulls. Just 0.3 of a second between the top 3 drivers.
Gavin starting a fast lap, hoping he's gotta be super careful not to get invalidated here because this is his only lap he gets. And Little Piece retired.
Little Piece has retired from the session, so if Wolf and Gav are able to get lap times, that means Little Piece will start in 10th place. Gavin is in Sector 2 of his quick lap. Wolf is in Sector 1. So let's ride on board with the Ferrari. Let's have a look at Y Racer for a second here. He begins his fast lap. He's looking to improve that 144.1. as is TnB DW in the other Red Bull, a 144.2. He wants to improve on that. Not happy with that yet. There's a fight for pole. Just having a look at some of the YouTube comments. To everyone who's watching, thanks for watching. You can feel free to interact with us. Let us know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong.
Gavin goes fastest.
Gavin goes
143.7.
143.7 as he did in Q2. So showing that pace. Does that one lap pace translate into race pace? And Wolf has gone fifth. Wolf has gone fifth. Winner for real, look at that. Winner for real has gone second, a 144.0. So the Red Bulls that were first and second, they're going to be third and fifth.
Oh, this is coming up to the bus stop return. German doesn't it, but not come in position. Can see why racer went up. Oh,
Why racer to pole. Why racer to pole. Nicely done. Red Bull coming back there.
If I'm not mistaken, that's his first TnB pole.
Just now await the final result of Q3, and there they are. Y Racer stealing pole at the very last moment. 143.3. Took pole from Gavin in the Ferrari second place. Vino Force India third. And you got Force for the Renault in fourth. DW in the other Red Bull in fifth place. Wolf in sixth. Ronald seventh. Cameron eighth. Captain Ice in ninth and Little Piece in 10th. So your two Toro Rossos in 9th and 10th. All four Red Bull cars in the top 10. Now, Rob, what do you make of this Eau Rouge on lap 1?
It's gonna be crazy. Just make sure you get through Eau Rouge without damage or without losing the rear of the car.
Well, from what I can see
ending up in the barrier.
What I can see on my screen at the moment, weather conditions look promising.
Yeah,
so say 45 minutes into the race, and that's a long time from now, so things may change. And if we do see a wet stint in the middle of the race, it could be interesting. Obviously we will have a formation lap. Pretty long formation lap, 7 Ks. Won't be surprised if we see a few disqualifications where guys pop up on the grid. This is one track you don't want to sit on the grid all by yourself. So obviously at the end of Q3 I read to you the top 10. Let's go through the rest of your drivers. Drivers who got eliminated in the other qualifying sessions, and as I predicted earlier on in the lap, we've already had 4 disqualifications. Well, out of the top 10, just out of the top 10, Staffy, he's 11th, Springbok Gamer 12th, Lucas in 13th, Thomas 14th, Cowboy 15th, then Death Seeker 16th, Mornay 17th, Devon in the second Renault, he's in 18th, and then Connor Young 19th place.
They actually have a lot of disqualifications.
It's an extremely long circuit, and just get on a curb and hit someone, it's quite difficult. But it also makes these formation laps quite difficult, is people can be quite erratic on the brakes. So while you're warming up your tires and doing your own thing, you need to worry about the cars around you. Gavin would have been surprised to start in second. I'm sure he thought he had it. So good result for Force India. Nice to see a Force India up in third.
And another one disqualified. And another one. And another one.
Well, we have 7 cars on circuit of 19. And look at that, the grid's basically full when this when this train of cars gets here. The car's basically full and waiting for them. Well, I hope that's not the view I'm going to get for the start of the race. It appears that is the view I'm going to get for the start of the race. A view from turn 1. You can hardly see anything. There we go, we wait for the 5 red lights. When the 5 red lights disappear, it will be go. And there it is. Start of the race. Y-Racer getting a good start. He's going to have the inside line for that first corner. And now we hit the all-important part of the circuit. On lap 1, you want to be careful. Don't get too aggressive up here, and whatever you do, don't go side by side. Everyone follows through quite nicely from what I can see on screen. Nicely done. 19 drivers through a Rouge without any notable incidents. And I'll say that Seeker has retired. Wasn't in a Rouge. It was at the entrance to the straight. Quite a big collision against the barrier there. Isn't just a yellow flag. So it doesn't seem like we're going to get a safety car for that incident. Back at the front, Y-Racer still leads the race. He leads by 0.3 of a second from Gavin. Then a further 1.5 seconds down the road, you'll find the Force India of Vino. He's closely followed by TnB Force, just 0.6 of a second down the road. And Wolf is holding on to those two. Then you've got TnB DW a little bit further down the lead in 6th place. He's got a train of cars behind him. He's got the 2 Toro Rossos of Captain Ice and Little Piece, followed by the Ferrari of Cameron and Ronald, all in the queue behind. Have a look here, put some data here on the screen. Y-Racer, obviously purple, lap 1, leader of the race. Gavin right behind him, going left and right and just thinking about it. We're starting.
You have to remember, Y-Racer is on a set of softs and Gavin is on a set of supers.
It's true, he will have the extra grip. Might actually make him stronger here in sector 2 and 3, where there is a bit of cornering. If he has that superior grip. 0.4 of a second in it now. In the meantime, Force has made a pass on Vino for real. Force now 3rd in the Renault. Well, Vino's lost a lot of time, so I don't know if he spent some time off circuit. I don't see any damage to the car, but he was 1.6 seconds behind the leaders, and now he's a good 2.5 seconds behind the leaders and behind Force. Devin, the other Renault driver, he has retired from the session. The DNF. 17 runners remain on lap 2.
Then we have Gavin on Racer.
All over the back of the Red Bull, they side by side. Racer holds on to it for now. And another retirement. It's the other Renault. Not a good day for Renault. Both cars retiring within a lap. Gavin up the inside there on turn 1.
Racing will have the DRS after Eau Rouge.
Needs to make the most of it before Gavin can get away on those supers. Maybe he'll get DRS here down the back straight. Needs to get as close as he possibly can and then get late on the brakes. Gavin defends, goes to the inside. Oof, I think there was a bit of contact there. Gavin stays in front for the time being. Good battle at the front, just 0.2 of a second in it. If we go back to third place, Vino has taken his third place back for now with the retirement of Force. And then your tier 2 champion, your tier 2 championship leader, he's in 4th place. Captain Ice, another retirement. Just 15 runners on lap 3. Belgium is a challenging one. So as we stand, Gavin leads the race, crucially by 1.1 seconds, so already Racer falling out of that DRS zone. Further 2 seconds down the road, Force India, Vino. Captain Ice has left the session. Wolf in 4th for Merck, followed closely by the second Red Bull of DW. You see your drivers from 2nd to 5th, all on a set of softs. Cameron on a set of supers, he's in 6th. And he's coming up to the back of DW, so we're going to have an interesting battle here shortly. DW catching up to Wolf, Cameron catching up to DW.
And just like DW will have Wolf.
Will he yield? No, he doesn't. He goes around the outside, nicely done, and claims 4th place. And now he can set his sights on the Force India up the road from him. 2.5 seconds up the road. Get himself up into 3rd place and continue the perfect Red Bull podium record for the season. Wolf hasn't let DW out of his sights just yet, but now he's got the red car in his mirrors to worry about. He's trying to stay with DW, but he's got the red car all over his gearbox.
Just look at the train of 5 cars.
Long train of cars forming behind these 3.
Seconds.
DW leads this train.
Backs out of it.
Gav makes the fastest lap of the session, a 150, 3-second time penalty for Cowboy. As I say that, I think it's the first penalty I've seen.
Wolf runs wide, out of turn 1, McLaren loses there. Nice left, Wolf has to
Cameron now.
Should be a quite easy overtake. Super soft slipstream on DRS.
Cameron goes past and claims 5th place. It's the Merc driver Wolf. He's falling down the order a little bit, and he's not even going to have a breather because now his mirrors are going to be full of pink.
And then orange.
does have the superior tyre, but Wolf hasn't let go of this just yet. Getting very close together, these two. Backs out of it. Cameron runs a little bit wide, but Wolf not able to capitalise on it fully. Ronald has gone off circuit. Let's just have a look at his car. He's got damage on the left hand side of his wing. He went off circuit, had a run in with the wall, and well, he's lucky to be on circuit. Went off quite violently. Little Piece now gets a 3-second time penalty, so the time penalty is starting to come in.
Wolf catching back up to Cameron.
Seems like PW has gotten away from that battle. He's in a good space of fresh air, clean track ahead of him, and he's cleared this trio by 1.5 seconds.
And Cameron goes deep into turn 1.
We ride on board now with Wolf as he goes up Eau Rouge. He's right behind Cameron as they go onto the main straight. He gets DRS, he activates it, and we see the Force India going up our left hand side. He backs out of it. They would have gone 3 wide into that chicane, and Lucas has jumped them both. Nicely done. He's in 5th place.
Oh no, dude.
Wire Racer.
And Springbok Gamer. Oh no, not Springbok Gamer.
Complete havoc at the front.
This is a virtual safety car.
Well, this changes things. Gavin still leads the race. Now the other Red Bull finds himself in 2nd place. We've actually still got a Red Bull in 2nd place and still got a Force India in 3rd. So, well, what is that all about? So at the restart, it's going to be Gavin, DW, Lucas, Cameron, Wolf, Springbok Gamer, Cowboy, Mornay, Ronald, and Thomas. And obviously Staffy in 11th place. Just 11 runners after 6 laps. Five-second stop-go penalty, severe collision. Changes at the top. Wolf has now gone 3rd. He gets a pass on Lucas. Lucas made a fantastic pass earlier on Wolf and Cameron, jumped them both. Wolf has now reclaimed that position. Just having a look at the car of Lucas, looking for some damage. Don't see any damage, but he's dropping positions on my screen. Unfortunately, I think that is lag. Battling to see what's happening with that Force India.
Now all of a sudden it's behind Cameron.
Just getting a comment here on YouTube from TnB Force. Says he just touched the curb and that was the end of his podium.
Oh, Staffy getting close to the wall, actually hitting the wall. It didn't look like he lost any wing, or luckily not his wheel, but he's battling with Thomas for 10th place at this stage.
Wire Racer also putting a comment in our comment section, a little bit more expressive. Let's just leave it at the abbreviation of FFS.
Unlucky Warriors F, and we look really strong.
Gavin leads the race from TnBDW by 13 seconds, so a healthy lead there. Wolf in 3rd. Cameron's in 4th. He's having to defend from that Force India. Force India hasn't let go of him just yet. Go down to 6th place. We'll find Springbok Gamer in the Haas. He's had a relatively quiet race, but doing well. Cowboy, 7th place. He's got a McLaren right behind him. Remember, he's got that 3-second time penalty. The penalties are going to count against you. See Ronald in 8th place for McLaren. Monet, he's in the points, 9th place for Williams. And then you've got Staffy in the Alfa Romeo, 10th place. Thomas in the other Alfa Romeo, just outside the points, in 11th. And those are your remaining runners.
Ronald in the slipstream of Cowboy alongside, but past people may even have to break into the
Force India and Ferrari battle continues. Got a bit of a gap, got a bit of a battle here between for 8th place, just half a second in it. The Mercedes of Cowboy and the Williams Mercedes of Monet. Nothing in it, just 0.3 of a second. And look at that, Cowboy runs wide and Monet follows him, taking exactly the same line. They basically ran wide. It was a mirror image. Cowboys now opened that gap to Monet to just over a second. Monet obviously making a bit of a mistake. Got Lucas on the gearbox of Wolf, challenging for 3rd place. They go side by side. He's got his nose in front. He's got DRS open. Goes into the chicane and easily done, nicely done. It's made DRS work very well for him on 2 occasions now. And he's back up into 3rd. Votes the Mercedes down to 4th. And Cameron's still going around in the Ferrari, 5th place.
That's Jonathan. I don't know if you can see it, but I see drops of rain on my screen.
I haven't seen anything just yet, but I'll keep my eyes open. As soon as I see, I'll let you know.
You can see.
Not seeing anything on my screen just yet.
Just really go on board with one of the cars and we'll see.
Don't see anything on my screen just yet, but there we go. Bit of a delayed reaction, but seeing a few drops. Yes, from TV Pod you can see a few drops. Obviously can stay out on these dry tires for a while.
Cameron making a move on Wolf. What Wolf defends. He has to back out of it for the Ferrari.
Ferrari now in 4th place. He'll be trying to catch that Force India in front of him, but he's got 2 cars behind him to worry about. Wolf now coming under severe pressure from Springbok Gamer. And Wolf trying to put pressure on Cameron at the same time. Lucas now picking up a 3-second time penalty.
Springbok going for a move. That backs out of it.
Got a bit of grass there on the back tyres, a little bit off circuit. Nothing in it between these three.
Single gamer down the inside, outside.
Side by side. And he's taken it, he's gone around the outside, very nicely done. Springbok Gamer up into 5th place. He's going to try and now get away from that Mercedes. Try and catch up to the Ferrari. Gamer's been able to open just about a 1 second gap, 7/10 now. So those guys behind him will still be in DRS. And now Wolf pulls alongside. And he gets ahead. No, he doesn't. Sorry. Still ahead. Springbok Gamer. Looked for a second like they'd go side by side up Eau Rouge. And it's going to come down to DRS. Going to brake later. Got the inside line. Nothing in it. 5-second stop go penalty now. Exceeding track limits. That's for Staffy. He's down in 10th place. Currently got 18 points, I think, in Tier 2 Championship. Joint 4th place in the Championship, if I'm not mistaken. Looked at the points earlier, but I can't remember exactly. Mornay now in the Williams. He's in 8th. Doing a good job. He's got in ahead of Cowboy in the Mercedes, currently in 9th. Staffy keeping it in the points. Cameron now has been able to get away from that gap, but now I'm starting a little bit more prominent than a few minutes ago. Right on board now with Springbok Gamer as he continues his battle with Wolf. Continues his battle with the Mercedes. Activates DRS as they go into turn 1. And he's gone up the inside. Nicely done. Passes Wolf again. Great battle here for 5th place. But it has allowed Cameron to get up the road a bit. Surely these raindrops are a little bit off-putting when you're on slicks going up Eau Rouge. Now we go with Wolf in 6th place. He pulls alongside, riding on board with him. Gets on the outside, closes the door, retakes 5th place. And some seriously good racing. We're witnessing some seriously good racing. They don't have to worry about Ronald. He's 11 seconds down the road. Cameron is getting away, but these two are in their own little world, fighting for 5th place. Haas now coming back. Wolf running a little bit wide on the exit of that corner. It's allowed Springbok Gamer to come right back at him. Have a look if there are any other battles on circuit. Oh, and look at that. That's the end of Springbok Gamer. We were following him when it happened. And it's in a pretty unfortunate part of the circuit as well. I wonder if it may bring out a safety car.
No safety car.
Doesn't seem like it. It's going to promote. That's going to promote Mornay. It's going to go up into 7th place. Oh, I think that was lag. The safety car is just going to refuse to come out. Well,
and that's actually also sort of on the racing line.
It's a fantastic battle for 5th. I'm actually sad to see it's over.
There's also a battle for 8th, Rafi and Cowboy.
Let's have a look, let's join them. Get onto the pit straight now. Cowboy activates DRS. Into turn 1, not close enough. Doesn't make a move. Now going up Rouge, taking an interesting line there on the exit of the corner. Both drivers taking completely different lines. Staffy's going to try go around the outside. He's going to activate DRS down the straight. He's going to have to go around the outside into the chicane. And that's what he's done. He's gone around the outside. Means you get the inside for the next corner. And he's taken 8th place. Nicely done. Let's have a look. A potential battle in its beginning stages may be forming for 3rd place. Just a second in it. You can drop that a little bit more and it could get into DRS range so long as these weather conditions don't deteriorate further. You could see DRS falling out of contention completely. Hamilton want to close this gap, 1.2 seconds to 3rd place, get as close as you can and utilize DRS while it's still available. This is the closest battle on track at the moment between Force India and Ferrari. There's 1.6 seconds in it. Nothing else that's really close on track. Lucas has done a relatively good job of staying in touch with the Red Bull of DW. Just 3.5 seconds the gap. And obviously now with that final retirement of latest retirement of Springbok Gamer, means everyone currently on the racetrack, if they finish, they get points. 10 drivers remaining from the 19 that started on lap 14 of 44. Nowhere near the half race distance. Robbie, are you there? Am I talking too much?
No, I'm here.
Still there.
I'm busy on my phone looking at something. It doesn't involve racing, so...
Difficult at the moment, no real battles on track. We'll just keep going through the different drivers. Wolf currently in 5th place, and he had to battle for that 5th place, and unfortunately it was too much for Springbok Gamer and he dropped out of that battle when he retired. But it was one heck of a battle, and they passed each other more times than I can count. Cameron now dropping back from that Force India was making up a lot of ground. But if the qualifying sessions were anything to go by, I don't think he's a fan of wet conditions. Never really actually asked him, but qualified 7th in Q1 and Q2, didn't show optimal pace with a guy who got pole earlier on in the season.
Thomas lost wing in the third sector. I'm limping back to the pits.
No one on circuit within DRS range. Seeing a few more drops now, coming down a little bit heavier.
Ooh, and Cameron almost lost it at the same place where Ati lost. Springbok Gamer lost it. Came very close to the barrier.
I don't see any spray. I don't think it's time for intermediates. Well, Might have been a little bit of spray there from the Ferrari. Wolf gets another 3-second time penalty.
Lucas into the pit, so what's he doing?
Let's have a look. What does Lucas do? Will he go on to Inters? Is it too early? I saw Inters. The mechanics had Inters. Saw the green wall tyre. He's going to be the guinea pig. Going to be the first driver out on Inters.
And Wolf and Thomas.
A few more guys further down the order now, jumping into the pits and going straight onto Inters.
Usually the best time to go into the pits is when they disable DRS.
Problem with this circuit is if you're at the beginning of sector 1 and they disable DRS, you have to do an entire circuit on not optimal tyres. A long lap.
Long lap.
Extremely long lap. Through the pit stops, it's promoted Ronald in the McLaren. He's up into 4th. Cameron's up into 3rd for Ferrari. Ferrari currently 1st and 3rd. This would be an amazing result for the championship. Current constructors leaders, they've lost one of their drivers. Y Racer dropped out earlier. Their other driver currently in 2nd place. 30 seconds behind your leader. Evan has dominated in the first part of this race. Let's have a look now at Wolf. He's on intermediates, so is Lucas. Let's just watch this gap between Lucas and Ronald. Ronald is on the supers, Lucas is on the inters. The gap is currently 13.1 seconds. And if it dramatically starts to come down all of a sudden, we know it's time for inters. .0, so still hovering around the same roundabout now. The leaders have not dived into the pits, they've stayed out for another lap.
Inters doesn't look quite ready.
Maybe jumping the gun a little bit. Let's have a look now at Wolf in the Mercedes. Seems to be struggling. And he's got Monet coming up on his backside. He's got a set of super softs which are currently obviously working for him. And he's closing that gap quite quickly, just 1.9, 1.8 seconds in it. And that gap that I mentioned previously at 13 seconds, it hasn't closed at all. It's now 14.9 seconds, 15.2, so losing time on those inters. And the problem is when the track is not at optimal range for those inters, you're overheating the inters and you're not going to get the most out of them when the conditions are right. Only battle I can spot on circuit at the moment is for 6th place between Wolf and Cowboy. Between Wolf and Monet, sorry. That gap continues to come down, just 1.1 seconds in it. So Monet still making ground on those super softs. That tells me they're still the optimal tyre for the time being. Gavin goes around again, DW goes around again. They're not going on to inters just yet. Cam has come into the pits to put on a set of inters. He was in 3rd place. Ronald promoted up to 3rd in the McLaren. This lap is going to be very important. Ronald could jump Cam.
Ronald going to the pits.
Monet now diving into the pits. And Well, can you just confirm on your screen there, Rob, did Mornay just put on a set of softs? I think he just put on a set of softs. It's on the screen, it's on the timing screen. I hope, for his sake, that was not a Jeff moment. Maybe he's just hoping it's going to stop raining.
I think that was Jeff.
I think that was a Jeff moment. Well, unfortunate there for Mornay.
Luckily keeps it out of the barrier. Oh, and Cam.
Let's ride on board with Cam, see what he's doing. He's trying to get the car back in a straight line. He rejoins the circuit now. Rejoins in 5th. But he lost a lot of time there.
He just got onto the... This is weird. It's showing soft tires on Cam's car.
DRS has been disabled. Cam does have, well, on my screen I see intermediate. Like you said in the previous race, trust the timing screen. Select the tires on your timing screen and that is usually right. But you see on screen, Ronald now comes into the pits. Hopefully not for a set of softs. That's definitely a set of inters. Gonna come out of the pits.
Gavin didn't go into the pits.
W now also on a set of inters. Gavin 57 seconds ahead. But DRS has been disabled and he's just seems to be battling a little bit around the circuit, going slowly. Staffy now unlapping himself there from Gavin, so Gavin battling around the circuit. He's in sector 2, gap to DW 57 seconds. Not really being able to make a major impact on that gap. Having a look down the field, no real battles to speak of. Gavin now really battling. He'll be really happy to see that pit entrance. Comes into the pits now. The gap between him and DW at pit entry was 53 seconds. Should lose about 25 seconds here. He'll lose half of that gap. Everyone for the time being having a relatively lonely race. Gavin now comes out of the pits. He's on the pit exit. Should come out still comfortably in the lead. He does.
I'm struggling in the wets conditions.
Second Ferrari was looking strong for a podium. Finds himself down in 5th place and just maybe not enjoying the conditions as much as he was in the dry. But if the predictions that we got about the weather are correct, then the dry will be returning. So he just needs to get through this session. I'm actually seeing a lot of standing water.
Yeah, we're getting really close to full wet.
I see a lot of standing water, and I mean, if that's the case, the intermediate window wasn't very long at all. Lucas going through a rouge, just backing off. Track conditions not looking good. Trying to keep an eye on those timing screens if there's any battles. We want you to see them, but as you can see, nothing to speak of at the time. That would be the closest battle on track at the moment, battle for 3rd, and that's 3.6 seconds. Nothing. And then for 2nd it's 9 seconds. Those are the only gaps in the single digits. Gap for third place. It's still 3.5 seconds. Not making up any time. Ronald holding his own there in third place for McLaren. But, still seeing a lot of standing water, and Ronald just running a bit wide there. I wonder if it is time for wets. Seems to be coming down quite hard. Riding on board with Ronald here. When you get to the bus stop, there's a lot of standing water.
And
Ronald dives into the pits. DNF for Cameron. Didn't see what happened, did you?
I was on board, but he lost his car. He lost the rear going around the small thing.
The retirement for the Ferrari driver leaves just Gavin, sole remaining Ferrari. Ronald has come into the pits for a full wet, as has Lucas. Cowboy now also on wets. So we've got 3 cars out on full wets. Just keep our eye on that gap. Ronald's on wets, DW's on inters. If we see that gap come down, we'll know it's time for wets. So around about 24 seconds at the moment, so not finding any advantage. Just
not so much.
Means Mornay will be promoted to 7th, Cowboy to 8th, and Thomas to 9th. So finish this race and you'll get a little handful of points. And continuing on the intermediate. See if DW follows suit. That gap down to Ronald, 21 seconds. He has lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, he lost a lot. He got the starter at 24 seconds.
Now it's 20 seconds, so losing another second there. I'd be surprised if we didn't see him dive into the pits. We ride on board with him, he stays out. That gap now 18 seconds, clearly losing some time. Ronald needs to make the most of this now. Put in the very best laps he possibly can. That gap 16 seconds means if DW had to pit right now, Ronald would take second place. DW still has a long way to go. He's only going up Eau Rouge now. Still on that set of inters. Gap at the front unchanged, 36 seconds. Ronald now 15 seconds away. Seems like the wet is the tyre to be on. I think the guys that jumped onto the wets, they got the timing just right. See, where is Gavin? Gavin is in sector 3. Surely he's going to dive into the pits on this lap. Got a lead of 37 seconds. He'll still come out in the lead. And DW in sector 2. I'm sure we'll see both these two dive into the pits. Just stay on board now with Gavin in the bus stop. He's not going into the pits. The only thing I can imagine here is that the time that it's going to be full wets is not incredibly long, and they're taking the risk of staying out on inters. It's the only thing I can imagine. Gavin went through the bus stop and just carried on with it. Right on board with DW into the bus stop. Let's see if he dives into the pits. That gap 40 seconds, so he lost 3 seconds somewhere. And yes, he does. He dives into the pits. Just 6.9 seconds down to Ronald, so lost an incredible amount of time on that lap. Lost about 10 seconds on that lap.
And that's because it's really worth the risk of staying out on the inters.
It wasn't worth it, it seems. It's pushed him down to 4th. He's going to be safe from the Merc in 5th. Seems like there's a gap of over a minute there. But he's going to come out in 4th place, and he's going to have quite a gap back up to 3rd. Probably if it wasn't for his penalties, this Lucas is having a fantastic race. Yeah, car stopped there on the side of the track. Didn't see who that was. I think it was Mornay. Let's have a look at that front wing. Everything looks fine. Just running off circuit again. Taffy's still out on intermediates. Currently in 6th place. Where is Gavin? Gavin is in sector 3. He's approaching the bus stop. Will he finally dive into the pits, or will he stay out? No, he's going into the pits. That gap to Ronald, 41 seconds at pit entry. So 25 seconds for the stop. Should be a gap of about, let's say, 15 to 18 seconds when he emerges from the pits. Staffy now gets into his pit box to get rid of those inters. He goes on to full wets. Your entire field is on full wets now. Gavin comes out, and let's see what that gap is. "22 seconds the gap." Thought it would be smaller. Ronald now in 2nd place. You want to hold on to that position. But Luke is behind him, but he's 6.8 seconds down the road. NDW for Red Bull in 4th place. Been Red Bull's worst showing to date. 1st and 2nd in round 1, 2nd and 3rd in round 2, and now they've got just the one car running in 4th place. Only teammates, if I'm not mistaken, the only teammates we still have on track are 2 Mercedes and 2 Alphas.
That's cool.
Thomas still holding it together. You'll want to bring that car home. Just past the half race distance, 2 laps to go. There's still a long way to go. 8 drivers on circuit from the 19 that started this race. But you can't really blame most of them. I mean, really challenging conditions, challenging circuit, changing conditions, gone from dries to intermediates to wets, and if the predictions are right, the weather's still going to play a further role in this.
Don't know about you, but it looks like it's raining. The rain got lighter.
Does look lighter, at least from an onboard perspective. It looks lighter. It's going to be tricky now because track's obviously going to go back into an intermediate phase and then back into a dry stage, so the guys are going to have to make probably another 2 pit stops. 21 seconds the gap at the front between 1st and 2nd. Ronald's still in 2nd, extending that gap ever so slightly to the Force India in 3rd, and for the time being DW not able to make an impression on that 7.5 second gap. Wolf still in a distant 5th. a lonely 5th. Had an amazing battle earlier on in the race with Springbok Gamer, and unfortunately the Springbok Gamer made an error, ran wide, and met the Armco barrier. Up at the front, 22 seconds, so remaining relatively stable for the time being. Gavin just extending it that little bit. DW took 4/10 of a second out in the last sector from Lucas. Seems like DW coming up on some traffic now. It's the Mercedes-Benz of Cowboy, and in the process of trying to get out of the way of DW, he almost loses it, manages to remain on the tarmac, but that would have cost him a lot of time. It's important to let the guys pass, but you don't want to mess up your own race.
To the pits for intermediates.
First man, it seems, to jump into the pits for intermediates. We'll see if he jumped the gun or if this is going to work for him. Just going to have to watch the gaps between him and the cars in front and behind him. See what sort of time he's making.
But it looks drier than it was.
9 runners, 8 of them on wets. Meantime, Red Bull of DW has been promoted to 3rd. Lucas on the intermediates, 9 seconds adrift from the podium position. Just keep our eyes on that 9 seconds, and well, it's 8.6 seconds just like that. So I think the intermediate is now the tyre you want to be on.
Yeah.
Lucas is making up a little bit of ground. Maybe wait another lap or two. Maybe 1 lap. Considering this is a long lap. Another 2 minutes. Staffy goes around the final corner. He chooses not to go in. Doesn't seem like any of the front runners decided to go in.
Ronald into the pits.
Man in second place jumps into the pits, had a lead of 14 seconds over DW, so I think that will promote the Red Bull up into 2nd instead of intermediates. Goes on the car and he exits the pit lane. Should have added enough of a gap to the Force India, so he will come out in 3rd. And DW just manages to get promoted 2.5 seconds up the road. Wolf has retired from the session, so Merck has lost one of their drivers. And now the only team with 2 drivers on circuit is the Sauber team. Ronald on those intermediates, DW on full wets, gap is just 1.9 seconds. See if Ronald can make an impression. It's 1.6 seconds, so he is getting ever closer. Just seems like Gavin and DW have both probably stayed out on tyres longer than they needed to. Gavin, it doesn't really matter, he's got that ridiculous gap. Gavin's got a ridiculous gap, so he can afford the risk he loses 10 seconds in a lap because of a bad choice, it's really not going to affect his race that much. He's leading by 42 seconds.
Ronald should be able to make the move on DW before the bus stop chicane, but we all know that DW knows how to defend.
Ooh, there's a bit of contact on my screen. Don't know if it was just me, but it's taken second place. DW back down to third, and he's on that set of wets, so he's going to have to stop. And Force India's not far behind, just 1.9 seconds down the road, so when he does stop, he's going to find himself in fourth again, and further behind than before these pit stops. If there's anyone watching on YouTube, guys, comment, let us know what you think of the race so far. If you're one of the retirements, one of the DNFs, let us know what happened if we didn't manage to see it on screen. And obviously give us your driver of the day predictions towards the end of the race. And is Gav going to pull this off? Leads by 40 seconds. 39 now, so Ronald, definitely those intermediates are getting right into their zone and starting to make an impression on that lead. 39 seconds, so continues to come down. Gavin goes through the bus stop, dives into the pits. I think he must have started to see that gap reduce. On goes a set of inters for the Ferrari. DW still out on that set of wets, coming under pressure from the Force India of Lucas, going side by side, and Lucas takes the position. I don't think the vet fought that too much. He knows he's on the wrong tyre. Nothing much he can do. Luckily for him, he dives into the pits now. Luckily for him, he's in fourth place and he's pretty safe. Fifth place is Staffy and he's a lap behind. Only man left on circuit now with a set of wets is Thomas. And he comes into the pits now extremely slowly. Can go a bit faster than that, Thomas. Just need to slow down for the line. So after all those pit stops, let's have a look at your runners. Gavin in first. That lead now 16 seconds. Doesn't have the dominant lead he had earlier on in the race. Ronald's had a fantastic race. He wasn't one of my predictions. Really came from nowhere. Got himself on the potentially on the second step of the podium. He's doing a great job. Haven't seen many mistakes from him. Lucas, he's had an interesting race. I've seen a few points where he lagged, but I've also seen some fantastic driving, some serious pace. And then 20 seconds adrift. DW, I think he's just had bad luck with the tyres. It's just made, and probably lost a bit of time in stayed on the slicks a bit too long, and then he stayed on the wets a bit too long, and probably lost time in both of those instances. Now everyone on circuit is on a set of intermediates, so everyone is using the same tyres. Gap at the front, 17 seconds. Still 14 laps to go. Weather does seem to be improving, so I think we're going to see it dry end to this race. It means the guys are going to have to do one more stop, go into slicks. Probably just go out and have a sprint on a set of super softs. Ronald holding his own here. That gap of 17 seconds is unchanged. Staffy's still in 5th place for the Alpha team. Cowboy in 6th. 107. And obviously Thomas in 8th in the other Alpha. The only team that has managed to keep both cars on circuit. Really impressed with Ronald's pace here. He's holding his own against Gavin, staying in that 17-second gap. It's now starting to expand a little bit. It didn't have the best sector 2. But your top 4 in this race are very widely, evenly spread. From 1st to 2nd, we've got 17 seconds. From 2nd to 3rd, 14. From 3rd to 4th, a further 14. So, I don't think we're going to see any battles here on circuit unless the next round of pit stops really shakes things up some more. Are you noticing dry patches?
Yes, I am.
It's quite incredible already. At this very corner I saw standing water not so long ago.
Yeah,
amazing drainage.
Yeah, if only it was like this in real life.
Don't know if it's amazing drainage from Spa-Francorchamps or amazing drainage from Codemasters.
I think it's from Codemasters.
Amazing drainage. I think the F1 drivers would love this.
Because I've seen with 8 cars on track on this large track, and as red as it was, you don't go up that quickly all over the track.
In real life, it's actually one of the tracks that retains water for a little bit longer. Have a look at the gaps at the front. For the most part, everything is unchanged. That gap of 17 seconds at the front has been extended to 18 seconds. So Gavin just making up a little bit of ground, finding another second. Luke is still in 3rd place, followed by TnB in 4th, Staffy in 5th, Cowboy 6th, Mornay in 7th, and Thomas still lying 8th. 11 retirements. 8 runners. Now the last thing you want to do around here is when the time does arrive to get on dries, you do not want to be out there on inters for an extra lap. Yeah. Especially now that Gavin doesn't have that extremely dominant lead. It's still 20 seconds, 19, but earlier on in the race it was well over 40 seconds.
Jonathan, I have a scary fact for you.
Yes.
It's only 3 so 1 driver left in the race.
That's right, that would be Gavin, DW and Ronald. Not the best showing by the boys. Lap 32 of 44 means we've got 12 laps remaining in the race. 8 runners remaining. I think if someone were to retire now, they would be extremely annoyed. Gotten extremely far under very testing conditions at an extremely testing track.
There you go. Now we dive into the pits. But unfortunately for Gavin, he passed the pits.
What was that? The DRS get enabled?
Yes.
Well, Ronald has dived into the pits from second place. He's put on what seems to be a set of super softs. That's right, a set of super softs. Gavin decided to stay out on circuit. He's going to sector 2. If he dives in on the very next lap, I think he can get away with it. Already halfway through the circuit.
The DRS got enabled. He was at 21.
And nothing he could have done about it. But after seeing that message, I'm certain he'll come in at the end of this lap. Lap at the moment just 39.3 seconds, but not dropping dramatically enough for Gavin to be in any danger. 11 laps remain. And we're going to have one more roll of the dice for these pit stops. Seems like everyone's gone onto a set of supers. We've got Gavin, Mornay and Thomas, men in 1st, 7th and 8th on a set of inters. Gavin now into the bus stop. Surely he'll dive into the pits. He does. Gap is 37.9 seconds. See how much Ronald was able to claim. That gap was around about 19 seconds before Ronald came into the pits. See if he's been able to gain time from it. Set of softs for Gavin.
Interesting.
Going for the slower tyre with just 10 laps remaining. Let's see what has happened to his gap. We mentioned that before Ronald jumped into the pits. Gap was 19 seconds. Tell you what that gap is in the second. It's 18.3, so no harm done. Stayed out for that extra half a lap and didn't really affect him. He got away with it. EW now just 2.3 seconds down the road from Lucas. It's got an alpha between him and Lucas. 5th place Staffy, he's gonna get out of the way, stays to the inside. The vet gets easily through. 2.1 seconds, the gap to the podium position, 3rd place. Surely Lucas is going to hold on to that podium position with everything he's got. So I don't think it'll be easy. He's got to catch him first. Gap at the front, 15.8, 15.7 seconds. Ronald really showing a lot of pace here.
Gap down to 1.5 seconds between.
Ooh, and he's gone off circuit. Gavin went off circuit there briefly, but luckily he went off circuit at a very forgiving place. He's found some more tarmac.
BW right within DRS range of Lucas.
5/10 of a second, nothing in it. Sector 2 now. We'll see how these guys use ERS is also interesting. 1st and 2nd, they're currently running on level 3. whereas third and fourth are both in level 2. The Devet could probably turn the whip up a little bit and get past him on the straight if he threw it into overtake. But just holding back from that right now. Ooh. Devet loses a wing. I'm not sure if that was lag or if Lucas braked very dramatically. But that could very well be the end of DW's podium hopes. Let's have a look on the broadcast camera if I can see any damage to the front wing. Definitely saw carbon fiber, but could be lag.
No, there is damage.
Still fighting Lucas for the time being. We finally get a view of the car, and yes, definitely missing an end plate on the right. Lap 35 of 44. We've got a bit of a battle forming for third place. Got really close, then there was a bit of a interesting moment where Lucas seems to have jumped on the brakes. W had nowhere to go but into the back of him, lost a piece of his wing. Now he can either, if he feels he can drive the car as it is now, he can either stay out there and try and battle for third, but if he pits now, he's going to finish in a very lonely fourth place. So what would you do? Stay out there or?
Depends on how he goes in. Depends on how bad the damage was. If you could have handled it, then you could have stayed out. But if it's undrivable, rather go in, change the wing, rather than ending up in a barrier with no points at the end of the race.
So for the time being, DW settles for fourth place. He's gonna get on the podium. It's gonna take somebody making a mistake, quite a big mistake, in front of him. He's 25 seconds adrift from a podium position. And again, no battles on track, nothing even in the single digits. You'll just ride with your leader for the time being. He had a fantastic race. Looked like he was going to take pole position, but it got snatched from him right at the last moments of Q3. It was taken actually by Y Racer, someone who's left this race quite some time ago. Had some bad luck, was in a strong position. Gavin tends to do better at the older circuits. We've all heard about him in Japan, but now pulling it off in Belgium.
Yeah.
It should come with a certain amount of satisfaction just finishing a 100% race at this circuit. Especially when you've gone from slicks to intermediates to wets to intermediates to slicks. That's quite intense. Let's have a look at some of the pit stops. Basically no car on circuit has done less than 4 pit stops. So quite crazy times. DW has done 5 pit stops, as has Ronald. So if Ronald hadn't done that extra pit stop, he could have been in a very strong position and probably leading this race. And then most pit stops of the day so far will go to the Williams driver, Monet. He's tallied up 6 pit stops. And your strongest position changes of the race, Ronald's found Cowboy 9 and Monet also 10. 6 laps remaining. As Gavin goes over the line. Start lap 38. Gap is 18 seconds down to Ronald. Ronald got the pace, but just he's not being able to make an impact on that gap. And with 6 laps remaining. It's looking good for Gavin. Force India goes around the bus stop onto the main straight. Looking like a comfortable 3rd position. Hold everything together. You've got a 24-second lead over DW. Need to keep the track on the tar. Just need to keep the car on the track. And I actually had a 100% race around this track where I retired on lap 42. And let's just say my mood was not pleasant. In fact, I didn't play the game for a week. Springbok Gamer now left the session. Some of the guys have been sitting in the lobby watching. Good to see their support. Lap 39, situation remains unchanged. You'll have your 8 runners. 8 guys remaining on track have done a good job to get this far. I'm sure Red Bull will be ruining what could have been. Very strong position at one stage. W now fastest lap in the latter stages of the race with a 1:46.9. But that gap to 3rd place, I think it's just a step too far. 21 seconds the gap. They're closing that gap to 3rd place ever so slightly, but it's just going to run out of laps, unfortunately.
You're going to have to close it 5 seconds.
5 seconds a lap, that's right. Basically need that Force India to go do some off-road driving in the gravel. And I'm sure he has no intention of doing so. That is still in 5th. It's going to be good for his Tier 2 championship. Obviously, this will be for Tier 2. This should be what, 2nd place for Staffy?
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
And Lucas taking his first run for Tier 2.
With double his championship points. Championship points for Staffy at the moment are 18. He'll pick up another 18 today if he stays in this position. Double his championship points in one race. that's all 4 laps from now. 7 k's a lap, still 28 k's from the end. Sounds like a lot if you think about it.
Yeah.
That's like Joburg Pretoria, that, and they do that in about 7 minutes. Don't know how effective one of these would be on the N1 road.
If it's an open, I think it would be really effective, and if you can drive as fast as you want.
I don't think it's going to be fantastic in 7:30 traffic though. I don't think you're going to get much done.
And that's why I said if the road's clear, and there's no one on there, and you're not allowed to drive as fast as you can. Anything's possible there.
Well, now with a 10-second time penalty. Obviously, another thing to remember is Lucas did pick up a lot of penalties initially in the race. I saw him pick up 2 or 3 of the 3-second time penalties. And with that gap of 20 seconds, if there's penalties that we haven't counted, you can still see a nasty switch of results. It's really going to come down to who's had the cleanest race. And DW's actually got quite the reputation when it comes to staying penalty free. But surely Lucas does not have 20 seconds worth of penalties. Commentator's curse working once again. TnB DW awarded a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Probably shouldn't have said anything, but oh well.
Yeah, they still got penalty.
Force India now starting lap 42.
Lucas only has 3 seconds of time penalty.
Gavin still absolutely flying, already in sector 2. Soon he'll be on the penultimate lap of the race. And in the bus stop chicane. In 7th for Williams, pick up some points. And all of these tier 2 drivers are it's gonna be a really good position for them. The 3 tier 1 drivers that they'll obviously jump. The Cowboy, that'll be 3rd place, Mornay 4th and Thomas 5th. They'll all be getting good points in their respective tier. And then in tier 1, just the 3 drivers picking up the points on offer.
And there's one on the podium.
You might join halfway through the season and still win this.
Who's back now?
You.
I won't do him. That's for sure.
What a race it's been, eh? Changing conditions, lots of DNFs.
It started interesting with all the close battles and everything. Finish the race.
It sort of ended with long spaced out gaps between every car. So difficult to talk about any battle because there's no battles on screen. So that leaves me with the only option of talking complete rubbish to Rob.
Yes.
Here we go, Gavin now goes over the line to start lap 44 of 44. Goes around turn 1. And now he's going to start the climb up Eau Rouge for the 44th time. Just needs to get it right once more. As clean as he would like it. He had a flawless race really. Haven't seen him made any mistakes. Not while he was on screen with me. Done a great job. 21 seconds ahead. Let's go back to Ronald. He's now going up Eau Rouge for the 44th time. And then the Force India in third place, just going around the bus stop now. So quite substantial gaps between the top three. 51 seconds to be exact between first and third. Just under a minute. And now your third place driver gets through Eau Rouge. Nicely done. Go back with Gavin in sector 2 of his final lap. Flawless race so far. Just got to complete this final sector. Ronald not too far behind. We join Gavin just in time as he goes around the bus stop chicane. He's going to go over the line. That's a fantastic victory for Gavin, for the Gav Pig in Ferrari. Nicely done. Ferrari needed a result like that for the Constructors' Championship. Just go back to Ronald. He's going through the bus stop chicane now. He's going to go over the line and pick up a very well deserved second place and 18 points in the Tier 1 Championship. Where is the Force India? Force India still a ways down the road.
This is his first race and his first win in TnB.
Very nicely done. Tier 2 win on debut. It's through the bus stop for the final time. That should be your podium. I wouldn't mess around too much on that final straight, considering he might have penalties. Throwing a bit of time away there.
3 seconds.
DW now through the bus stop. Let's see what will happen. Will he jump any positions? Seems like it's going to stay just like that. Penalties will not play a part. The gaps are that big. And go down to, what was that? Let's go down to Cowboy. He's finished his race in 5th place. Got 2 runners remaining. Yet to finish.
First.
Mornay going over the line. Well, Thomas goes over the line first. And Mornay will go over the line now. There we go. And that's the Belgian Grand Prix, round 3 of season 2. What a race it was. A race of 4 seasons. Got a bit of everything. There's your podium. Gavin on the top steps for Ferrari. And then 2nd place, very nicely done, Ronald. And then 3rd place, Lucas. And technically the winner of Tier 2. Which technically promotes DW to 3rd place in Tier 1. Which means Red Bull can hold on to that podium record for the time being. Well, those are your final results. And just a lot of penalties. The only man not to get a penalty that actually finished the race was Thomas. Let's just run through your results really quickly before the screen disappears. Obviously, Gavin winning the race from Ronald. Third place to Lucas. DW in fourth. Staffy fifth. Cowboy in sixth. We got Mornay in seventh. Thomas in eighth. And those were your finishers. Retirements: Wolf, Cameron, Springbok Gamer, Vinner, For Real, Y Racer, Little Piece, Connor Young, Cowboy, Force, and I didn't get the last one. Captain Ice.
Captain Ice and Devon.
Captain Ice and Devon. So 11 retirements.
And Dave Seeker.
Well, should we, let's see if there's any viewers on YouTube. Should we do some interviews? Don't see anyone online on YouTube at the moment. So I actually think we're going to skip the interviews. So we're not broadcasting to anyone at this point in time. But I'm going to say thank you to everyone who did watch. I'm going to say thank you to everyone who's going to watch this later on or maybe on the weekend. And thanks, Robbie, for joining me again. It was a fantastic race.
Thank you for letting me join.
And anyone who's watching, see you same place next week, same time.
Monaco.
For the Monaco Grand Prix. And with 8 finishes of the 19 today, I hope Monaco is an improvement, but I doubt it. Enjoy, guys, and see you then.